All right, Shalom. First off, I'm going to start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachakodash. Double honors unto the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, who rule well and teach well. And peace, blessings, and salutations to all you walking throughout the four corners of the earth, continuing to push and with the works in truth and in sincerity. All right, this is the brother Masha, my young one of the men here with the GMS branch out here in the morning camp, here with another lesson through the spirit. And this is going to be a quick little lesson, pretty much just going into the main focus is going to be using this world and not abusing it. All right. And, it was just something I was thinking about through the spirit and really just giving the balance and the understanding, when it comes to, jobs and handling, your worldly business. All right. Because the scriptures tell us to handle those things as well. Right. For the ones that have awoken to this truth, and that are in the spirit, Yahweh Ba'Shem Shai, you know, the scriptures also command us not only to fear the Lord and to keep his, his commandments to the best of our ability, but also, to take care of our worldly affairs, But without further ado, let's start off with the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 7 and verse 29. All right. And I really just want to give the balance and understanding, on, why it's important to also take care of your worldly affairs, This is 1 Corinthians chapter 7 and verse 29, and it reads, "But this I say, brethren, the time is short. It remaineth that both they," Salakia, 1 Corinthians 7 and 29, "But this I say, brethren, the time is short. It remaineth that both they that have wives be as though they had none, and they that weep as though they wept not, and they that rejoice as though they rejoice not, and they that buy as though they possess not, and they that use this world as not abusing it, for the fashion of this world passeth away." Okay. But what? Verse 29 said, "But this I say, brethren, the time is short." Okay. And we understand that through the spirit. Okay. We understand and know that in the times that we're living in is the times that the Lord is going to return. Why? Because what the Lord has prophesied and told us about in Matthew 24. Okay. Matthew 24, right? Even 2 Ezra chapter 9. Okay. Within the book of Ezra, it also gives prophecies that we see in the times that we're in. Okay, and a lot of those things that the Lord has mentioned are happening in the times that we're in. Okay, and that's how we know, that the Lord's return is not. Okay, by the things that He mentioned that will come to pass before He returns, right? So we're in that time. Okay, and we understand, that like it tells us in Micah 2 and 10, "Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest." Okay, because really, ultimately, shortly, this place is going to be destroyed. Okay, for the wickedness that's going on and the wickedness that has been built up. All right, that's ultimately why we can't be comfortable too. Okay, but verse 30, "And they that weep as though they wept not, and they that rejoice as though they rejoice not, and they that buy as though they possess not." Okay, so basically, whatever situation you're in, whatever condition you're in, okay, problems you might have going on, all right, we still move in the spirit of what? Hastening to be loose from this captivity. Okay, despite the things you have to handle, despite the things that are on your plate. Okay, whatever it is that's going on in your life, tailor-made hell that's for you. Okay, that doesn't mean what? Give up on the Lord. Okay, and focus on your sorrow or what you're going through, right? Because ultimately we know the Lord is coming soon to destroy this place, right? Verse 31, "And they that use this world as not abusing it, for the fashion of this world passeth away." Okay, now, and this is really the verse that came to my mind, and I spoke on those other things, right? But the main point is that I want to focus on is they that use this world as not abusing it. All right, and it was really just through the spirit, just concerning providing for yourself, getting your daily bread, right? Um, we got to do those things, but we're using the world but not abusing it. Okay, and I'm focusing on the aspect of doing what we got to do to get by, to keep a roof over our head, have money in our pockets, to be able to handle the things that we need to. Okay, but what we're not abusing it. All right, when you start abusing it, now you start focusing on that more than the work of the Lord. Right now, that's I'm looking at it like a balanced scale. Okay, Now the worldly affairs and the getting money and the job and things like that is overweighing, okay, and it's weighing down on the right side of the scale, which is the truth. All right, you know, and that's how we can that's how we are not to be, right? But as it says, as and they that use this word as abusing it, okay, because as the Lord told us Himself, let's get Matthew chapter 6, book of Matthew chapter 6 and verse 31. And it reads, therefore take no thought, saying, what shall we eat, or what shall we drink, or wherewithal shall we be clothed? For after these things do the Gentiles seek, for your heavenly Father knoweth that ye have need of all these things. Okay, so this is another precept to keep in mind, really. All right, to keep us not too worried about the things of the world. Okay, and really it takes faith in Yahweh Bashim Yashai as well. Okay, because things are easier said than done. Okay, you got to pray in that faith and really trust in the Lord that He's going to handle your everyday affairs and worldly affairs and things that you got to take care of. All right, that He's going to come through and give you and show you an opportunity to handle what you need to handle. Right. Verse 31, but seek ye first the kingdom of the Most High, and after in His righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. Right. But seek ye first the kingdom of the Most High. Okay, and that's the point I wanted to focus on. Okay, because we can't let the worldly affairs and things of the world outweigh on the balance, the weight of, this truth, and our mind being focused on Yahweh Bashim Hashan, the work of the Lord, right? Stand in the spirit, okay? So we want to make, as it says in verse 33, but seek ye first, okay? So first we want to have the kingdom of the Most High, this knowledge, this truth, okay? The spirit, through the spirit and power Yahweh Bashim Hashan in our minds, right? And then the Lord is, as long as we put the Lord first, okay, He'll come to our aid and our help, you know. But from here, let's also get Luke chapter 8 and verse 14. Once again, just giving the balance on understanding why you still have to take care of what you need to take care of, right? This is Luke chapter 8 and verse 14, and it reads, let me type it in real quick. Salakia. Luke chapter 20 and verse 25, and it reads, and he said unto them, render therefore unto Caesar the things which be Caesar's, and unto the Most High the things which be the Most High's. Okay, so you still have to handle both things. Okay, being within this this kingdom. Okay, under Esau Edom. Okay, because if you don't pay your taxes, hey, he's gonna come for you. Okay, if you don't pay those tags, hey, you're gonna pretty soon they're gonna have to charge you, right? You're not paying what you need to pay. You're not paying your house bill, okay, and then the things you got to take care of. Pretty soon you're gonna what? You're not gonna have a roof over your head, okay? So this is exactly why the Lord said what He said, and being within this society and this kingdom, that's why it's wise to what? Have a job and do what you got to do, right? Just give them the balance, right. And I wanted to go into that word render real quick in the blue letter. All right, because really it really it was a perfect definition that I found. Luke chapter 20 and verse 25, and it reads, for the word render, because the Lord said, render therefore unto the Caesar the things which be Caesar's, right? And we apply that in the times that we're in, okay, to Esau Edom, okay, being the so-called white man, right? But it says the second definition, to pay off, discharge what is due, okay? To pay off, to discharge what is due. So you have to being in the, we are subject unto payments like the scriptures say, okay? As long as you become of age and you start doing the things that you're supposed to do, right? getting a car, your own car, or your own house, or getting a job, or even a cell phone bill, right? You still subject on the payments because you got to pay it. Okay, if you don't, then it's going to end up being shut off, and Esau's going to take that privilege away from you. Okay, that's why the Lord said, "What render therefore unto Caesar's the things that are Caesar." So you got to do what you got to do, and that's why it's wise. What once again to be able to provide. Okay, you know, really so that you can be able to do just that. Okay. From there, let's get the book of Proverbs, chapter. Let's go to Luke 21 and 24 real quick. Luke chapter 21 and verse 34. Salakia. I'll read this after actually. Let's get a Proverbs real quick. All right, because it's another precept that's been in my mind lately. This is Proverbs chapter 16 and verse 24, and it reads, let me type it in. Salakia, verse 20. And it reads Proverbs 16 and 20. He that handleth a matter wisely shall find good, and whoso trusteth in the Lord, happy is he. Okay. But it said, he that handleth a matter wisely, happy is he. Or shall find good. So like it says shall find good, right? And applying it to what? Handling a matter wisely when it comes to what? Rendering unto Caesar the things that be his. So it's wise to what? Have a job. It's wise to what? Find a way to have income so that you be able to what? Render unto him the things that are due. Okay? Pay off what you got to pay off, right? Because it's really continual, you know. Really, when you look at it, as long as the system is up and running, it's going to be continual until they shut it down. Okay? So for the time being, it's wise once again to be able to provide, you know, because even like it says in the book of Proverbs, chapter 14. Let's get that real quick, right? And once again, just giving the balance, you know, not because like what I started off with in 1 Corinthians 7. Okay, we're using this word but not abusing it, you know. So just being able to render unto Caesar the things that be his, right? Just giving that balance. But Proverbs chapter 14 and verse 4, and it reads, "Where no oxen are, the crib is clean, but much increase is by the strength of the ox." Okay, when you look at it physically, okay, the ox in the ancient world was used to plow, okay, to bring in that grain to plant seeds, okay, and that's what brought you that crop, okay, that's what brought you in that increase, all right, you know, in the times that we're in, having a job, having a vehicle, okay, or should I say a job, right, like they say, grinding, you know, it's how you're able to what get that increase, get that bread to be able to pay off the things that you need, okay. That's why once again it's wise to do that, you know. Even the scriptures tell us, you know. Um, from here, let's go to Ephesians chapter 4 and verse 28. And it reads, because even this is what Paul said as well. Let him that stole steal no more, but rather let him labor, working with his hands the thing which is good, that he may have to give to him that needeth. All right. So if you used to steal, you know, in the world, hey, well now the scriptures command you, like as Paul is saying, you know, steal no more, but rather let him work, let him labor and working with his hands. So what? What is that? Getting a job, okay? To be able to get that increase, that income, to be able to what? Do what you need to do. All right. So now what? As it says that he may have to give to him that needed. So now you're able to help a brother out when he's in need. Okay. You're available, okay, or you're capable or able, you know, if you have it to help a brother that's in need. Okay. You know. From here, let's go to, I guess we can hit that Luke chapter 21 and verse 24. It was really going into, focusing on tying, and really, it's really tying in with um that Matthew 6 and 31. But this is Luke chapter 21 and verse 34. Luke chapter 21 and verse 34, and it reads, "And take heed to yourselves, lest at any time your hearts be overcharged with surfeiting and drunkenness and cares of this life, and so that day come upon you unawares," okay? And dealing with what? The cares of this world, okay? So though you have to get a job, though you have to work, though you have to do what you got to do to handle your worldly affairs, right? But don't be what? Overcharged with surfeiting and drunkenness, and cares of this life, okay? And that can be a big care of this life. If we don't want that to take away our attention from this truth, okay? You know, and there's a brother in our camp. He did a lesson, and it was a point that I made, or to like it was a point that he made in his lesson, and he mentioned, well, the Lord bless and Salakia, but roughly paraphrasing. So therefore, render pay back the Lord, good for the blessing that He's done for you, right? And that's something that stuck out. So the Lord bless you. You're able to do what you do. Hey, so go harder for the Lord. All right. Show the Lord that you're thankful, and put in more effort and time for the Lord. You know. So, but that's the point. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, Rakakudash, double honors unto the elders and the apostles, a great millstone who rule well and teach well. And peace, blessings, and salutations to all you walking through the four corners of the earth, continuing to push and do the works in truth and in sincerity. With that, I'm going to say shalom.